Satisfaction. Control,
I always wondered who the pest was under the mask.
he muttered.
Then I looked closer. Too many anomalies. Disappearances, coincidences. The same damn duck behind both faces.
He tapped the screen with a gloved finger.
Drake Mallard. Retired, reclusive, grieving father.
Leaning in, voice softer now.
And now, predictable.
The screen shifted. Grainy footage of Darkwing's hideout. Shadows moving. Someone else,
Must be that damned sidekick, the pilot.
he thought. Ramrod's eyes narrowed.
So many secrets in that little sanctuary,
He said.
and not all of them belong to him.
He leaned back again, chuckling quietly.
Pain makes good puppets.
Ramrod whispered, almost lovingly.
Let's see how long he keeps dangling at the end of his strings before he understands the truth.
The lights dimmed fully. Fade to black. Chapter 5. Ghosts in the Code. The hideout beneath the bridge was cold tonight. Screens blinked with salvaged data from the Klangtech robotics facility. Drones, patrol logs, shipping manifests. It was all half scrambled, like fowl wanted to be found, but only in the way they chose. One file, however, stood apart. Triple encrypted. Red tagged. Silent. Project. Dimension Tide. A chill traced his spine. Whatever this was, it wasn't just tech. It was personal. Darkwing Duck stood rigid at the console, his silhouette etched in the pale glow of the screen. Across the room, Launchpad McQuack rotated his bruised shoulder beneath the compress, watching the code scroll like static lightning.
I've seen a lot of encryptions in my time, DW, but this is black budget, military grade. No way Fowl cooked it up on their own.
Darkwing didn't respond. His eyes were locked on the file's name, but his mind was drifting somewhere colder. He snapped out of it. Fingers flew across the keyboard, bypassing surface encryption. The file resisted, layers of ghost code and data decoys. Finally, a fragment bled through. Static. Then words. Project. Dimension Tide. Phase 3. Crosspoint calibration. Subject anomalies. Observed. Resonance field breach. Imminent risk. Stabilization assets. Compromised. Required component. Subject W. Redacted. Darkwing's breath caught.
Resonance? Breach?
He whispered.
DW.
Launchpad said, leaning closer.
This isn't weapons design. It's something bigger.
Darkwing nodded grimly.
Something that could tear the city apart. Or worse.
He tapped another command. A partial schematic appeared, an intricate field generator surrounding what looked like a dimensional anchor. Some notes referred to an entity or signal outside normal space. The file ended there, cut off, as though someone had pulled the plug mid-transmission. Darkwing stared at the blank screen.
She was chasing this.
He muttered.
Goslin knew. And they killed her for it.
Launchpad's voice softened.
DW. Maybe you should take a second.
No.
He forced his voice steady.
We move forward.
Flashback. A mask without the cape. The rain outside the orphanage fell soft and steady, like the world had forgotten how to move forward. Inside, Goslin Waddlemeyer sat curled, in a corner of the common room, hugging her knees. She refused to blink. If she blinked, the grief might slip in. If she spoke, it might become real.
Goslin,
The matron called gently.
Someone's here for you.
She didn't move. Drake Mallard stepped into the doorway, gaunt, bruised, arm in a sling, bandages across his brow. He looked like he'd walked out of a wreck and forgot to stop. The wreck had a name. Taurus Bulba. The fight had been brutal, closer than it should have been. Bulba's cybernetic fist had crushed two of his ribs. His left arm barely worked. The burns across his brow came from the last charge blast that should have ended him. And Goslin had been there, trapped in the chaos, fighting beside him, refusing to back down. Until the last moment. Launchpad had pulled her out, kicking and screaming, as the building collapsed behind them. The last thing she'd seen was Darkwing Duck standing alone, bloodied, facing down Bulba's final onslaught. She thought he had died. Now Drake Mallard stood in her doorway, carrying those same Ursaim wounds. But he wasn't supposed to be Darkwing Duck. At least not to her.
You're not from the system.
No,
You're not my caseworker either. I checked.
I'm just someone who made a promise.
To who?
Instead of answering, he walked to the center table and carefully pulled something from inside his coat. He placed it down like it was made of glass. A purple fedora, burned along the edges, torn slightly across the brim. Her breath caught. She knew that hat.
Darkwing Duck.
She whispered.
He couldn't be here today,
Drake said softly.
but he asked me to give this to you.
You know him?
I've worked with him before. I've trusted him. He trusted me.
You're lying.
He laughs.
You're right. Can't put anything past you.
He looks around and then takes one of the wrap bandages and slides it down under his eyes to mimic a mask.
I am him. I never said I was good at disguises.
She stood slowly, warily, the edges of her heart beginning to shift.
You showed up late.
I almost didn't show up at all.
She stepped to the table, picked up the hat, and held it close. Her chin trembled. She smelled of rain and dust, and something faintly sweet, like bubble gum, long since lost in her pocket.
I like you better in the cape.
Drake's breath caught. For a split second, the weight of her trust almost undid him. He knelt.
Then I'll wear it again. For you.
Then she hugged him like she'd decided that if he didn't belong in her life yet, she'd make damn sure he would.
Don't leave me again.
I won't, I promise.
He meant it with everything he had. Back to present. The search. Darkwing's fingers flexed at his sides as he pulled himself back from the memory.
She always saw through the mask.
He muttered. Launchpad looked up.
You thinking about her?
She would have cracked this already. We're just standing in the dust she left behind.
He tapped the encrypted file.
If we're going to break this, we need the one person who could keep up with her.
Launchpad nodded. More solemn now.
Honker.
Herbert Muddlefoot Jr. had always been a savant. Even as a kid, he was writing his own operating systems and solving theoretical math puzzles for fun. He didn't just understand machines, he anticipated them. By the time other kids were learning cursive, Honker was playing with quantum mechanics. He rose fast, accepted into Black Ops academic circles, contributing anonymously to classified papers, consulting for agencies that didn't have names. And then he vanished. No scandal. No send-off. Just silence. He'd erased himself completely,
That was over a year before Goss died.
Launchpad said.
I think she knew where he went. I think they were working on something. Something big.
Darkwing's throat tightened. Calling Honker in meant dragging him through the same fire that had already claimed so much.
She trusted him.
Darkwing said quietly.
They were close. Closer than she ever told me.
Launchpad nodded.
She called him her other brother, said he kept her grounded, and that he understood things even she didn't.
Darkwing's jaw clenched.
And Fowl made sure she didn't live to finish it.
Launchpad exhaled.
Whatever they were into, it wasn't just theory. It scared people. People who could bury anything.
He tapped at his laptop.
Honker
Goes by NeuroQuack now. Last signal came from an encrypted server buried in the shell of an old library downtown. Dead system node. Barely breathing. But it's him. Darkwing stared at the pulsing file again.
He doesn't even know she's gone.
Launchpad's voice cracked. Just a little.
No.
A long silence.
Then we don't just need his help.
Darkwing said.
We owe him the truth.
He grabbed his cape, holstered his gear, then paused. His eyes falling on a photo pinned near the console. Goslin and Honker. Faces smeared with soot. Grinning like nothing in the world could touch them.
She trusted him. So will we.
You want to go quiet?
Darkwing's voice was low. Steady? Dangerous?
We always go quiet. Until we don't.
He stared at the photo one beat longer.
Hold on, Honker.
He thought.
We're coming.
Chapter 6. The Boy Who Vanished. The 9th Street Library had been condemned for over a decade. Its skeletal frame sat buried in a sea of broken street lamps and graffiti-tagged silence. Half the windows were boarded, the rest shattered. A rusted chain-link fence barely clung to its posts, forgotten by the city and deliberately ignored by anyone who mattered. But beneath the rot and silence, something lived. Darkwing Duck crouched beside the southern fire escape, scanning the windows through infrared optics. He spoke into his comms mic.
Third floor's got heat signatures. Dim but patterned. Machinery, not people.
You think he's got AI running interference?
Wouldn't be Honker if he didn't.
They climbed the fire escape in silence. Well, as much silence as Launchpad could manage, and reached a cracked window flanked by faded signs for overdue books and summer reading drives. Darkwing placed a magnetic bypass on the security sensor buried in the rotting frame.
Let's go, Ghost.
Inside, the air was dry, thick with dust. Empty shelves stretched like gravestones into the dark, and crumbling pages littered the floor. But beyond that, humming. Faint, electric. Darkwing motioned forward, sweeping silently past derelict bookshelves. A small elevator in the back, hidden behind what used to be a YA fiction sign, blinked faintly with blue LED light. Honker's point of view. 3 floors below, Herbert Honker Muddlefoot Jr. sat inside a cocoon of wires, fiber optics, and retrofitted tech. Old microfilm readers had been gutted and reborn as decryption nodes. Towering server stacks pulsed softly behind him. The only light came from a hovering holographic UI that glowed like a digital ghost. He hadn't seen daylight in days, weeks, but he was close. His hands darted across a fractured keyboard as he traced a foreign digital signature, a worm someone else had embedded in a military archive weeks ago. Not his work. Goslin's. It had started before he vanished. Before he erased his name and buried himself beneath the library. She'd come to him in secret, tense, serious. Said someone was combing through old surveillance archives, behavior patterns, trying to connect faces to masks.
Someone's trying to find out my dad's secret identity. Help me hide him.
she'd said.
Help me hide us both.
They had worked in shadows ever since, carefully, remotely. And now, the trail she left behind was all he had left. He hadn't eaten since... when? The wrappers littered the floor, untouched. His eyes burned, red-veined. Sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford, not until he knew what happened to her. His hands hovered above the keys.
God, Gauze, where the hell are you?
The signal she left, encrypted, fractured, splintered, across firewalls, had haunted him since she went dark. They had been collaborating in secret just as the threads began to form around Project Dimension Tide. She promised to send him the final sequence. It never came. He hadn't heard from her since. A chat window blinked in the corner of his terminal. GWM, last active, 41 days ago. His throat tightened.
I told you not to poke this bear.
Then the motion sensors tripped. Back upstairs. Darkwing froze as a low-frequency chime echoed down the stairwell.
He knows we're here.
That good or bad?
We're about to find out.
They reached the elevator, ancient but humming with fresh power. A keypad glowed faintly beneath a camera rigged from a gutted drone. Before Darkwing could hack it, the door slid open. An invitation or a trap. Darkwing's eyes narrowed.
Honkers still honker.
They stepped inside. The elevator hissed open with a hydraulic sigh, revealing a cavernous basement bathed in cold blue light. Makeshift servers buzzed like insects. Cables hung like synthetic vines from the ceiling. The place was chaos, controlled chaos, wired with obsession. At its heart, crouched in a modular cockpit stitched together from dead tech and neural scaffolds, was Honker Muddlefoot. He turned, weapon raised. A homemade energy pulse cannon. Ugly, efficient, and very live.
Back off.
He warned,
You're not supposed to be here.
Honker, it's us.
said Launchpad, hands raised. Darkwing stepped forward, voice calm.
You're getting rusty. We found you.
Recognition flickered across Honker's face. He lowered the cannon slowly, blinking behind cracked augmented lenses.
Launchpad? DW? What the hell are you two doing here?
We need help.
Darkwing said.
We found something. Encrypted. Something called Project Dimension Tide.
Honker's expression shifted. He backed into his seat at the main terminal, hands hovering above the keys but not typing. Not yet.
I was afraid of that. I was hoping it was just a ghost trace.
What is it?
Launchpad asked. Honker didn't answer. He just stared, searching their faces for something. Answers. Courage. Or confirmation of what he already feared.
Where's Goslin?
Darkwing and Launchpad hesitated. Honker's voice sharpened.
I lost contact with her over a month ago. She was working on something important and would not have brought you two into the fold unless something big was about to happen. Where is she?
Darkwing stepped forward, removed his hat. His voice was raw.
She's gone, Honker.
Honker froze. Breath caught. Time suspended.
What? No. No, she said she'd stay low. I begged her to be careful. She can't be gone. No. She said she was chasing a lead.
A lead?
Darkwing echoed.
What lead?
She thought someone figured out who you were.
Darkwing stiffened.
You mean...
She never told me how. just that something was spreading underground. Pattern recognition, behavior analysis. She believed someone high up pieced it together. She didn't want to drag you into it.
Honker said.
She thought if they didn't know you were connected, you'd be safe.
Darkwing clenched his jaw.
I thought they took her to punish me. I never asked how they knew where to strike. I should have known. I should have known. But what does my secret identity have to do with this dimension-tied weapon?
Project. Dimension Tide isn't a weapon, it's a breach protocol, cross-dimensional infrastructure.
He turned the terminal. Ancient code scrolled past. Military tags, mixed with something else.
They're using something older, and she found the entry point.
Silence.
Then we stop them.
Launchpad said.
No, we end them.
Darkwing replied. Honker pulled up a new data thread.
She never sent the final code. I kept the chat line open, pinged her every day.
His voice cracked. Then came the images. Megavolt, Quackerjack, Bushroot, the Liquidator, Negaduck.
The Fearsome Five.
Launchpad muttered.
Gone.
Honker said.
Every site had background radiation, same as dimension-tied signals.
Flashback. The final stand of the Justice Ducks. A superstorm. Chaos in the streets. Darkwing, Morgana, Stegmut, Neptunia, and Gizmo Duck. The Justice Ducks. Outclassed and outgunned. The Fearsome Five didn't rob. They destroyed. Data centers. Grid hubs. Labs. Negaduck led them.
We've been pawns long enough. This time, we burn the board.
The battle raged. Darkwing fought Negaduck, and then they fled, vanished, back to the hideout.
They used them,
Honker said.
then erased them. But how did they know?
Honker asked.
How did they find her?
I assumed it was about me.
Darkwing said.
But they knew.
Honker typed.
No slip-ups, no leaks. If they traced her, it wasn't technical.
They had someone inside.
Launchpad said.
Or, Darkwing whispered, someone figured it out. Algorithmically.
Honker looked up.
She believed someone cracked your identity, matched behavior patterns.
And once they had that,
They just had to follow the girl home.
A silence heavier than grief. Then,
If someone figured out who you are,
Honker said.
they could figure out who Negaduck is too.
You think he's still alive?
No trace, no body, no radiation spike.
he either went first, or he's the one they couldn't control.
Darkwing's eyes narrowed.
Then we find him.
So, what do we do now?
Launchpad asked. Darkwing's voice came back like steel.
We hunt the devil.
This wasn't justice anymore, Darkwing thought. This was war, and he was done playing hero. Chapter 7. The Devil in the Dark. Somewhere far below St. Canard, past abandoned subway lines and half-forgotten utility tunnels, a room pulsed with erratic red light. A makeshift war room carved into the bones of a forgotten fallout shelter. Old tech buzzed in the corners. Cracked monitors flickered with static-choked feeds. Burned-out schematics. Surveillance footage corrupted by interference. On the far wall, scrawled in blood-red spray paint, "Trust no one." Negaduck sat in the center of it all, hunched on a rusted steel chair, cloak draped around him like a vulture's wings. His yellow and black hat lay beside a heap of shattered screens. his face lit only by the pulsing red glow of a salvaged emergency battery pack. He hadn't slept in days, but he remembered everything.
They came for us in waves.
He muttered the words aloud, half curse, half confession.
Bushroot. You poor leafy bastard didn't even know what hit you. Megavolt, Quackerjack, and Liquidator. They had no right to take you from me.
But Negaduck saw the pattern faster than the others, because he was smarter, meaner, more paranoid, and when the shadows came for him, he was ready. They didn't expect resistance. They expected chaos. What they got was war. He remembered the hidden facility tucked beneath a fake recycling plant. He remembered their mistake, assuming containment meant control. It didn't. He burned the lab to the ground with their own tech. Weeks later, he was still alive, still in the wind, disfigured, alone, but watching. He'd scavenged fragments of intel, data shards, corrupted logs, stolen code, enough to learn one name, Project Dimension Tide. He didn't understand it all, but he understood this. It took his team, and that meant someone else was playing God. They had spoken in whispers.
Phase 3 will begin soon.
One of the techs had said, thinking him unconscious. But he wasn't. He heard them. He saw the schematics, not for weapons, for doors.
Doors that weren't meant to be opened.
He chuckled bitterly, pulling a half-burned schematic from the chaos around him.
They wanted monsters.
He growled.
They just forgot who made the first one.
He picked up his hat, adjusted it slowly over his head.
Time to remind them.
He stood and moved to a control panel he'd welded into the wall, booted it with an override key stolen from one of his dead would-be captors. The screen flickered. A still active foul relay beacon pinged the grid. A single name blinked at him. Project. Dimension Tide. East Node. Negaduck grinned. Then he picked up his chainsaw. Back beneath the bridge. The hideout no longer felt like a grave. It thrummed with energy now. Sharp. Focused. The clutter of grief replaced by the rhythm of purpose. Darkwing Duck stood before a wall of intel. Honker's decrypted fragments, stolen foul files, chemical traces, broken timelines. At the center, one image burned brightest. A red thread running from Dimension Tide to the blinking profile of Negaduck. His own face, twisted by madness. Honker hunched over a tablet, muttering.
If Negaduck really survived a live transit attempt, even partially, that makes him the only known subject to do so. That makes him more than dangerous.
Darkwing frowned.
Then why not kill him after?
Honker swiped to a deeper file. One of the oldest,
They couldn't afford to.
he said.
Negaduck isn't just some loose end. He's from the Negaverse, a different dimension. Exactly the kind of living subject they've been trying to understand. A stable anomaly.
He pointed to a line of corrupted data tags. Polar entity. Negative equivalent.
He was the key, a walking proof of concept.
Launchpad blinked.
You mean?
They needed him alive.
Honker said.
To study him, his biology, his psychology, to figure out why he crossed dimensions intact when everything else failed. And
Honker's voice lowered, eyes narrowing.
because in the Negaverse, there is no Drake Mallard. There, Negaduck is what you are here, DW. He is the Darkwing duck of that world, but without restraint, without limits. He is fear. He is power. He is control.
Darkwing's jaw tightened.
And when he came here
Honker continued.
and saw you, saw Drake Mallard beneath the mask, he saw weakness, a mistake, everything wrong.
He tapped the screen again.
To him, you are the anomaly.
Honker looked up.
We find him. We find the truth. About the Five. About Dimension Tide. About Goslin.
Darkwing didn't blink.
I want him alive,
He said.
but I'm not betting on it.
Honker swiped to a new display.
I've triangulated 3 potential resurface points, power anomalies, signal spikes, stolen tech footprints. One location matches a foul node reactivation 6 hours ago.
Where?
Launchpad asked.
East Side, decommissioned metro station. No cameras, no patrols, just silent.
Darkwing turned toward the weapons cache, loading gear with surgical precision.
We hit it tonight.
A heartbeat of hesitation. He knew this might be the last time he stood in this room. But hesitation had killed Goslin. Not again.
What if it's a trap?
Launchpad frowned. Darkwing glanced over his shoulder. Voice cold.
Then we spring it.
Chapter 7. The Devil in the Dark continued. As Darkwing holstered his gas pellets, comm links, and upgraded grappling launcher, Launchpad hesitated behind him.
DW, this thing with Negaduck and Dimension Tide, it's bigger than us. We should consider reaching out.
Darkwing didn't answer.
Morgana, Neptunia, Stegmod, the Justice Ducks, Launchpad continued. You know I'm not trying to second-guess you, but if they're pulling beings through dimensions, if they're experimenting on people, we might need backup. We might not walk out of this.
Still no answer. Then quietly, Darkwing lifted his left wrist. A small worn bracelet clung just above his glove, violet beads dulled by time. One shaped like a duck, the paint almost gone. It looked absurd on a man armed to the teeth, but he rubbed it with his thumb, slowly, deliberately. The edges were worn smooth, worn by her fingers first, and now by his. When he spoke, his voice was low, controlled, but shaking with fury beneath it.
No,
He turned, eyes burning.
I'm not dragging anyone else into this. Not again. Not after Goslin.
Launchpad stepped forward, tension in his jaw.
DW.
No,
Darkwing snapped.
they'll be targets the second they stand near us. That's what happened to her.
He lowered his hand. The bracelet slipped beneath his coat, but it was still there.
I lose one more person. I don't come back from it.
The words struck like a blow. Launchpad looked like he wanted to argue. But then he saw it, the fear behind the mask, the raw, silent grief, the rage barely leashed. Launchpad exhaled, slowly.
All right,
He said.
just the 3 of us. For now.
Honker stood in the background, wide-eyed. He understood now. He was in it. Whether he wanted to be or not, Darkwing turned back to the wall of intel.
Negaduck's not hiding.
He muttered.
He's waiting.
He gripped the strap on his gear pack.
Let's not keep him.
And if this was his last fight, Then it would be the one Negaduck remembered. Chapter 8. Echoes in the Rift. The east node was buried beneath the city like a tumor, half-eaten concrete, rusted rails, and the stink of stale rot. What used to be a metro hub was now a dead artery, forgotten by everyone except the rats, and the people who needed it that way. Darkwing Duck dropped silently from the access tunnel, his cape brushing against the damp air. Behind him, Launchpad and Honker followed, the latter adjusting a signal reader pulsing faintly in his hands.
Energy spikes are erratic, Honker whispered. But something's here. This is where the node pinged from.
Then we keep quiet and move fast, Darkwing said.
They pressed on. The deeper they went, the stranger the walls became. Metro signage gave way to fresh welds, reinforced steel doors, and scavenged tech bolted into the station's bones. Cables twisted above them, alive with errant current, like blood vessels in a mechanical body. And then they saw it. A central chamber, circular, humming, built around a hollow core. 6 terminals glowed softly around a pulsing rift, suspended in the air like a wound in space. It shimmered, not fully open, but breathing. The air around the rift was colder, thinner, like the space itself forgot how to breathe. The edges shimmered in jagged waves, bending light as though the world were being rewritten 1 pixel at a time. A sound rose beneath the hum, a distant bone-deep thrumming, like a heart beating in a corpse.
Dimension-tied interface,
Honker whispered.
They built a gate here.
So, is it active?
Launchpad asked.
Barely. It's unstable. Testing phase. It's not meant to fully open yet.
Then we crash the experiment,
Darkwing said, stepping closer. Voice gravel-edged. Honker's eyes stayed locked on the gate.
If they pull the wrong structure, or the wrong entity, he whispered, it could collapse local space entirely. We'd be lucky if only the city vanished.
Then the gate pulsed. A shriek of metal. Then silence.
Something's trying to come through.
Launchpad warned.
No!
Honker whispered, eyes going wide.
Something's trying to get out.
A low tremor rolled through the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. The rift pulsed again, harder. And then they saw it. A silhouette. Massive. Wrong. It rippled inside the rift, twisting, shifting, never fully forming. One moment, a claw. The next, spines. Then something like wings. Only too many, too jagged. A sound followed. Impossible to mistake. A roar. But not from one throat. Thousands of them. A layered, howling cacophony of voices, not animal, not machine, echoing through the chamber. Launchpad staggered.
What the hell is that?
Honker's knuckles went white on the console.
It's not one thing. It's a whole ecosystem, a swarm, an entire dimension trying to force its way through.
Darkwing's eyes narrowed. But even he felt the cold bite of something older than fear.
We shut it down. Now.
Elsewhere. In a rusted-out radio tower cloaked by junkyard shadows, Negaduck watched. Not through magic, not guesswork, but through hijacked foul feeds. He'd scavenged a signal receiver from one of the first facilities that tried to kill him. The encryption was supposed to be unbreakable.
Idiots.
His face lit red by the glow of the monitor. Negaduck sipped from a dented can of something probably radioactive. On screen, Darkwing and his crew creeping closer to the rift.
Well, well, well.
He mused.
You finally got curious.